Welcome to today's session of yoga. I'm Carolyn and I'm happy to practice with you today. Some things you might like to get before we get started is maybe a towel to dry off, a blanket to bolster yourself up. You just fold that in a quarter and then sit on the edge of your blanket so that way your hips have a chance to come down. Mine are still very tight even after practicing for a while. A bottle of water, a belt or a strap. I would suggest some softback books and some hardback books. And that's because, unless you have a block. If you have a block at home, that's fantastic. And if you have a mat, that would work well for you. And if not, a beach towel would also work. So let's begin by taking a deep breath together, sitting in a nice comfortable seat, whatever that is for you. I'm going to sit with my legs crossed, but certainly you could sit with one leg out or both legs extended. Whatever it is, you want to be in a seated position that you could sit in for at least 5 minutes without much movement. So I'm going to go ahead and cross my legs and begin by shutting my eyes and centering, taking a deep breath in, opening my mouth and sigh it out. Bringing my back nice and tall. My shoulders are relaxed and away from my ears. Deep breath in. Exhale and sigh it out. Today I wanted to teach you some alternate nostril breathing. So you would take your right hand. You can go ahead and open your eyes. And we're going to take the first 2 fingers next to our thumb and put them on our forehead. And then we're going to bring our other 2 fingers together, put it next to our left nostril, and our thumb next to our right nostril. So we're going to go ahead and inhale, closing off our left nostril with our left finger, keeping our fingers on our forehead. So go ahead and inhale, close off our right nostril with our thumb, and exhale through our left nostril. Inhale through our left nostril. Close off that nostril and exhale through our right nostril. Inhale through our right nostril. Exhale through our left. And continue at your own breath. Let's bring our hands down to our knees. And just breathe at your normal pace, making sure you're sitting up nice and tall. That nostril breathing helps us to meditate. So let's go ahead and take a minute to focus inward. Taking nice deep breaths through our nose, filling up all the way to our belly, and then exhaling through our nose. We all have troubles, and in this time we can certainly choose to pick some more troubles than we normally have. But leave those troubles off our mat today. We're practicing together. Let's just focus in on each other at this moment. Let's just focus in on ourselves and our breath. On our next exhale, go ahead and bring your hands together on an inhale. And let's think of an intention that we'd like to set our intention for today's practice. It could be a word or it could be a thought. It could be a thought for somebody else or for yourself. Once you have that thought in your head, let's go ahead and sear that into our third eye by raising our hands and putting that at our forehead. Searing our intention into our practice, into our mind. Bring our hands back down and slowly blink open our eyes. Let's go ahead and continue in this seated position, keeping our back nice and tall, our belly's drawn into our spine. Let's lift our shoulders up and then exhale. roll them down. Again, inhale, bringing our shoulders up to our ears. Exhale, bringing them back and down. Our shoulder blades back and down. Inhale, up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, up. Exhale, back and down. And we'll do a couple in the other direction. Inhale and roll them forward. Inhale, up and back. Forward. Inhale. One more going in the opposite direction. Great. Let's go ahead and extend our left leg and flex our foot. We're going to pick up our right foot and flex that. And this is cradle the baby. Now my hips are tight, so I'm not going to be able to show you exactly how it goes, but I can explain it. If you can get your foot up to your elbow crease here, then you'll want to do that. And if you could clasp your hands together, then we're going to be rocking back and forth, keeping our spine nice and tall. But for me, my hips are just really tight. I'm going to go ahead and wrap my right arm, so my elbow is in the knee crease there. And I'm just going to take my foot flexed and just kind of rock it back and forth. So like my leg, my lower half of my leg is a little baby. I'm cradling the baby. So go ahead and loosen up those hip joints there. And if you can go ahead and try to, cradle it this way, keeping your back nice and straight. That's a little tough for me, so I'm going to just back it out a notch. And remember to breathe. Just going to go ahead and open up our hips a little. Okay, let's go ahead and extend that leg out and bring our left leg in. And we can go ahead and set up the same way, flexing that foot. I can get a little closer. And we're going to go ahead and rock that back and over, rock that back and over. Just move at your own pace and your own breath. Straight and flexed. Okay, let's go ahead and let that out. We can bend our knees and we can windshield wiper our legs out by laying back on our hands. And we have our knees bent. We're just going to drop one knee and then the other to the left. We pick that right leg up and drop our knees to the right. And then that's called windshield wipers. Okay, let's go ahead and get into tabletop. And we are going, if you have sensitive knees, you might want to use your blanket for your knees. You can go ahead and set your blanket up. And go ahead and kneel on that if you'd like. That'll help with any knee discomfort you have. And we want to stack our hips and our knees and our hands and our shoulders. So our hips and our knees and our hands and our shoulders should be in line. Our back should be nice and flat. Our belly should be drawn in towards our spine. Our gaze should be down. And we're going to do a few cat and cows here. So go ahead and drop your belly, raise your hips. Inhale and lift your head towards the ceiling. And you're shining your heart through your arms there. Exhale. Rolling your spine up. Stretching up through your shoulders. Your gaze is down towards the back of the room, or the back of your legs. So inhale for cow. Exhale for cat. Continue at your own breath, inhaling for cow, exhaling for cat. ahead and come back to tabletop with a neutral spine. Our belly is drawn in. We're going to keep our knees bent and we're going to raise our right leg to the side of the mat and just do some hip circles here. So we're going to hip circle in the clockwise motion, keeping the rest of our body nice and strong so we're not coming out of our position. We want to still keep our left knee and our left hand and shoulder in line. Our left knee and our left hip. And then once we've gone clockwise, let's go counterclockwise. And we're loosening up that hip. Nice. Remember to breathe. It's easy to want to lean into that left side. Try to keep that nice and strong. Okay, let's bring that right leg down and let's raise our left knee and go ahead and make some hip circles with that. Remembering to breathe, remembering to push through with our right hand, stacking our hand and our shoulder, stacking our knee and our right hip, trying not to collapse into that side. Remembering to breathe. Go ahead and stop that rotation and let's go in the counterclockwise. This way, I think I actually am going clockwise. So the opposite direction, how's that sound? Keeping that nice hip, lubricating that hip joint. So we're going to be doing some work with our hips today. Let's bring that down and move into child's pose. So we would just bring our toes to meet, our big toes, and then we're going to spread out our knees to the sides of the mat, making space in between. We're going to sink back, dropping our forehead to the mat, sinking back with our hips towards our hands, reaching our hands to the front of the mat, resting here. This is a great resting pose. If your hands are not comfortable at the front of the mat, you can bring them along your sides. If that is uncomfortable on your knees, you could roll up your blanket and set that in between your knees. Set that in the back of your legs. So when you sit back, that takes a little pressure off. So at any point during our practice, you're feeling like you need a break, you can certainly come to child's pose at any point. Let's go ahead and lift up. I wanted to show you a little flow here. So we're at kneeling. We're kneeling and we're going to just reach up a little bit for a kneeling plank. And then dropping down to the mat, keeping our elbows closed. We can drop all the way down to the mat. And then we're going to inhale for cobra. Now cobra, you're just picking up your chest and your head and your shoulders. You really shouldn't be pushing with your hands. See how I can lift my hands up? That is strength in your back legs are flat. Your toes are flat against the mat. And then we're going to push up through table. And then all the way down to child's. So that is a nice, easy flow. If I'm going to give you an option for that, that's cobra. And then table and child's pose. So let's go ahead and make our way to downward facing dog. So we're coming up, pushing up with our hands and raising our hips. Now your heels may or may not touch, but that is where eventually we'd like to see them go all the way down to the mat. To get us started, you might want to just pedal out your feet. That will help with your hamstrings. And believe me, when I started yoga, my feet did not touch the mat. I've been practicing for a while now, bit over a year, maybe almost 2. And it does take practice, but with practice, it will come. So you might want to just bend one leg, bend another, do a few stretches here. I wanted to let you raise your right leg and then bend your knee and kind of reach your heel for that back left buttocks. And let's do a couple circles here. You can do a couple ankle circles here. Making sure that you're pressing nice and strong with your hands. Let's square off our hips and bring that right foot down. Let's go ahead and do that with our left leg. Raising our leg and then bringing it over to our right buttocks. And then doing some circles with our foot. Nice. Square off our hips. Bring that foot down. And let's make our way to the front of the mat, tiptoeing all the way up to meet our hands. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Now your half lift might look like this, where you're bringing your hands to your shins, but really what we're looking for is a nice flat back here. Exhale, forward fold. Now your forward fold, you might need to bend your knees to reach for that mat. That's fine. Or you can have straight legs if that's comfortable for you. Inhale, tall mountain. Reaching our hands to the sky, our gaze is towards the sky, our legs are strong, our feet are grounded into the mat. And exhale for mountain pose, Tadasana. Our feet are grounded. You can tick up your toes and make sure they're all nice and grounded. Your feet, all corners of your feet are grounded into the earth. Your legs are strong. Your muscles in your thighs are pulled back and to meet your thigh bones. Your arms are engaged and facing forward. Your hands are open. And now we're going to do a sun salutation A. I'm going to show you some modifications. So inhale, tall mountain, exhale, swan dive down, keeping your back straight. Inhale, half lift, exhale, step back to plank, kneeling plank. Exhale down all the way to the mat. Inhale for cobra. Exhale for child's pose. Let's lift up to downward facing dog. Inhale our right foot. Step it up to the front of the mat. You may take a couple feet. You can help it if you need to. Step your left foot up to meet you. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, tall mountain. Exhale to mountain. Let's do that again, but this time I'm going to show you how to do a sun A fully. Inhale, tall mountain. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step back to plank this time, or kneeling plank. Chaturanga, keeping our elbows in, going halfway down. Inhale for up dog, where your toes are flipped over. They're flat on the mat. Your chest is shining forward. It's a nice big back bend here. Rolling over your toes, exhale, into downward facing dog. Pressing back with our hands. Our chest is going towards the back of our leg, towards our thighs. Take a deep breath in. Sigh it out. Another deep breath in. Sigh it out. Let's step that right foot forward. And drop the back foot down. So our heel, our front heel, and our back arch are in line. We're going to put a bend in that front leg, 90 degrees, so it's right over our heel. We should be able to see the first two toes. Our hips are facing forward. So our hip points should be the front of our mat. We raise our hands. Our shoulders are away from our ears. Our bellies are drawn in towards our spine for a nice, strong warrior one. Let's just breathe here. We're going to open out to warrior two. So we're going to pivot that back foot so it's parallel with the back of the mat. Our heel and our mid of our foot are in line. Or actually our heels are in line. Our gaze is forward, our belly is drawn in, our hips are opening out to the side of the mat. Our back is nice and straight, our shoulders are down. Our gaze is over our front fingers. Again, that's a 90-degree bend in that knee, and you should be able to see those two toes. Tailbone is down. Remembering to breathe. Nice, strong warrior twos. Let's flip that front palm. Let's drop our left hand down the back of our leg for a radiant warrior. We're going to inhale and exhale. Remembering to breathe. Nice side stretch here. And our right side. Strong legs. Shift our weight to the front. We're going to drop this elbow down to our right knee. Our gaze is going up towards the ceiling, and same with our left arm. Nice, strong heart opener here for a side angle pose. If you have a bind in your practice and you'd like to drop your left arm, you can drop your left arm, take your right arm through your legs, and reach for that other hand. So you're clasping your hands. It's a nice heart opener. And a nice stretch in your back. Okay, release that bind if you took it. Rise up for warrior two. Cartwheel your hands down and flow through. Now that would be plank or kneeling plank, chaturanga, or cobra or up dog. Inhale. Exhale for downward facing dog. Let's do that on the other side. Whatever we do on one side, we always do with the other. So raise our left leg, sweep it between our hands, dropping our back foot down, rising up for warrior one. Hip points are forward, knee is bent. Nice, strong warrior one. Exhale out to warrior two. Dropping I like to spread my back leg a little bit more. That's up to you. Opening out to my right side. Making sure my alignment's good. My knee over my ankle are aligned. My shoulders are down. My chest is out, but my belly's drawn in. My back is straight. And remembering to breathe. Let's remember to radiate that warrior by flipping our hand. Our right arm, right hand goes down our back, right leg. Exhaling back, stretching. Nice side stretch. And our left side. Remembering to breathe here. On our next exhale, let's bring it forward for a side angle. Bringing our gaze to the ceiling and our right hand up to the sky. Left elbow is on our left knee. Remembering to breathe. You'll hear me say that a lot. If you took the bind on the other side and you'd like to try it here, you just drop your back arm down. Go down a little deeper, stretch through. Grab hands, and then just make sure you shine your heart towards the sky. Gazes to the ceiling. Let's take a couple breaths here. Slowly release that. Return to warrior two. Cartwheel our hands down and flow through, or take a rest. Towel off if you'd like. Chaturanga. Up dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Take a breath in and side out. Breath in and side out. Let's raise our right foot and bring it to between our hands. Drop the back foot down and rise up for warrior two. Make sure our alignment's good. Straighten that front leg for triangle. So we straighten the front leg and we shift from the hips forward. We drop the hand down to as far as it's comfortable. And we raise our left arm to the sky for a nice triangle. And we are opening our heart here too. You may feel some gentle stretching in our back as well. When I first started yoga, it's like little springs were popping in my back. Everything was so tight. It's amazing how much better I feel now. On our next inhale, let's rise up. And we're going to bring this left foot forward so that way we're in our own lanes here. We're about 2 feet apart, the width of our mat, and also from front to back. Both feet are facing forward. We want a nice straight back. I'm going to bring my hands behind me like this, but you can also clasp your wrists or your forearms behind you, whatever's comfortable for you. And that is something, as your shoulders open up, you'll be able to do. I could not do this in the beginning at all. So inhale, and then we're going to hinge at the hips and go forward over that right leg. Once we're down, we can drop our hands and then just micro inch forward. So more of the weight is pulled to the front. We should have a nice flat back here. Now, if you can't reach and that's uncomfortable and your books are handy, you could have your books on either side and you can bolster yourself up a little like that. That might actually feel good for a lot of people, especially if you have very tight hamstrings, which most of us do. Our head should be hanging heavy. Nice deep breaths here. Remembering to breathe. That little shift forward really makes a difference in how you feel and how your back flattens out. So remember to do that little shift forward. Okay, let's slowly make our way up. Step up to the front of the mat. We're going to inhale, our arms straight up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step back for plank or kneeling plank. Chaturanga. Up dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Let's inhale our left leg up. Step stepping up between our hands, dropping that back heel down, and rising up for warrior two. Take a couple breaths here. Remember to straighten that front leg. We're going to go into triangle now. And hinge at the hips, going forward as far as you can. Dropping that left arm down to your shin. Rising up. Your right arm is stretching, stretching, stretching to the sky. Your gaze is up towards the ceiling. Your heart is shining. Nice. Remembering to breathe here. Inhale up. And we're going to go ahead and set up for pyramid on our left leg. So if you like the books and you want to use those on this side, certainly you can put them on your mat on either side so that way you can get to them easily. I'm going to set up where we're a couple feet apart in both directions. Go ahead and take your hands behind your back. I'm going to go for prayer, but you can certainly reach for your forearms or your wrists. With our hearts forward, we're going to bend from the hips. When we get to the base, as far as we can go, we can drop our hands and micro shift forward. So we have a nice stretch all the way down our left side. Nice flat back here. Letting our head rest. Remembering to breathe. I'll say it again. I've said it before. I didn't realize it, but I was probably in chronic pain for quite a bit of years. Suffering with migraines and every kind of back injury, that disc issues and degenerative discs and spinal stenosis. So I had to give up running because it just hurt so bad. My legs just ached. So I had to give up running maybe 10 years ago. I got back into yoga and started practicing pretty regularly, 2-3 times a week. And recently, I found that I can run again. I'm no longer in any pain. And I'm very thrilled that yoga brought back running to me, because it's a great activity as well. Okay, we've been in this position for a while. Let's inhale and rise up slowly. Nice. Let's step up to the front of the mat. Inhale, tall mountain. Exhale, hinge at the hips for forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step back for plank or kneeling planks. Keeping your elbows close to your sides for chaturanga. Flipping your toes. Inhale for up dog. Exhale for downward facing dog. Now, if you need to take a break, feel free to take a break and tail off. And of course, when we're going through our flows, if you would like to just meet us in down dog, you can do that as well. We're going to go ahead and inhale our right foot up to the sky. Exhale, sweep it through to the front. Engage those back toes. Find our balance here for a high crescent lunge. You're drawing your legs together. For your hands, let's go ahead and clasp them behind us. And again, you can reach for your wrists if you prefer. We're drawing our shoulder blades together and down. And if you'd like to, you could try to even do a little heart opener here, reaching your neck up and gaze to the ceiling. Let's release our hands and drop our back foot down. Our right foot let's heel toe over to the top right corner of our mat. Our foot is kind of on a diagonal here, actually. And we're going to grab our hands, clasp our hands. I always have a hard time with that word, clasp our hands. And then we're going to draw our bellies in towards our spine. We're going to lead with our heart for humble warrior. So you're going to just bend over. Your body is going to fit between your legs and right shoulder on the inside of your right knee. And just breathe here. Nice strong legs, rounded, strong arms, pulling them away from our shoulders. Head is hanging heavy, neck is hanging heavy. Can release your hands and walk over to the side of our mat. We're going to bend our left knee and we're going to raise our right toes. So they're coming onto your heel on the side of your mat. So we're going to just shift back, inhaling through the center, exhaling, rising up on these left toes now. Inhaling, coming to the center, exhaling, bringing our weight to our left leg. And if you want more of a challenge, you could do prayer arms. Inhale, exhale, flexing that foot. Inhale, exhale, keeping that back straight. Inhale, exhale. It's a balance. It's a hip opener, and it can be intense. Go ahead and keep going. All right. One more. Nice. Let's pivot to the front of the mat. Step our right foot back for downward facing dog. You can stay here or flow through or take a break. Let's take that left leg, sweep it between our hands, and rise up for high crescent lunge. Heart opener. Take a couple breaths here. Drop that back foot down. Heel toe that left foot up and over. Draw our shoulder blades together and down. Lead with our heart. Hinge at our hips for humble warrior. Slowly rise up. Turn ourselves to the side of the mat. And we're going to go ahead with that side squat again. Weight in the right foot, left toes come up. Inhale, exhale. Weight in right foot again, left toes come up. Weight in the right foot, left foot, right toes come up. Or again, you could creep back and forth, creeping from one side to the other, trying to keep our back straight. Great. Let's go ahead and turn to the front of the mat. Step back for downward facing dog. Flow through. Take a water break. Towel off. Let's make our way to the top of the mat. And we're going to work on our eagle pose. So this is a great one for our books. So I'm gonna stack our books on our left side first. Ground down with our left foot. Take our right leg. That left side should be nice and strong and supportive. Take our right leg and cross it over. Now we can tap down there on the books, or you can wrap it around your leg. Take your left arm and go over the right. Clasp our hands for a nice, strong eagle. Right. Slowly unwind. Shake it out. So now we're grounding down with our right foot. And we're bringing our left foot around our knee, or we're tapping down on the books. We're bringing our right arm over our left, bringing them together and bring them up to our shoulders height. Great. Slowly unwind. We're going to inhale, one more side, exhale forward, fold. Inhale, half lift, exhale. Make our way back to downward facing dog. We're going into pigeon from here, so raise our right foot. Sweep it to, we're bringing our knee to the back of our right wrist, from behind our right wrist. Our back leg is nice and strong and straight. Oops, let me see if I can reach this blanket. If you have your blanket handy, you can roll it up. If your hips are high, you can tuck it under your right hip. Your left foot should really be flexed. Sometimes mine wants to roll in. And really, if you can get your knee to go perpendicular, along this same side, perpendicular, I believe, along the mat, that would be great. Once you're settled in, you want to go ahead and go down as low as you can and just stretch out. I really don't need this blanket as a bolster, but if it feels better for you to have that blanket there, go ahead. And that foot, my foot can't go up as high as some people because my hips are so tight, but this is a really great stretch for your right side, your right hips really getting stretched. So just take a couple good moments here to stretch out, relax. If you don't feel comfortable leaning forward, you can certainly stay up on your hands here. That's still a nice stretch. You can come down to your forehead, forearms, and rest your hands on your rest your head on your stacked hands. Let's inhale and come up. Exhale. Stretch that leg back for downward facing dog. You can pedal out your feet. Inhale that left leg up and bring that to your knee to behind your left wrist. Stretch that back right leg out, straight and in line. Remember to flex your foot, and if you want to bring your blanket to this side, you certainly can bring it to the left side. Tuck it under there. Rise up, and then slowly make your way down. Let's slowly make our way out of this position. Again, coming back to downward facing dog. And drop to your knees. Spread your knees to the side of your mat for child's pose. you'd like to take a break, this is a nice time to take a sip of water. Towel. Let's make our way to kneeling and then all the way down to the mat. Resting our head on our forehead on the mat, our toes are flat, our hands are stretched out in front of us. I'm going to teach you a modified locust. So you'll raise your left leg and your right arm and your head up, and exhale, bring it down. Inhale, raise your right leg and your left arm. Inhale, bring it down. Inhale, opposite leg and arm. Bring it down. Inhale, opposite leg and arm. Bring it down. Now you can bring your hands at your side. If you'd like to try a little more challenging locust. Palms are facing down. Our legs are strong, drawing into the bones. Toes are facing down. When we inhale, we're going to lift our legs, our shoulders, our arms. Our gaze is down. Our neck and spine is straight. Exhale, rest on one cheek. Inhale, draw everything up. Remembering to breathe. Exhale, bring everything down. One more time. Inhale, bring everything up. Exhale, bring it down. Let's stack our hands and turn our toes out to the sides of our mat and rest our forehead on our hands for crocodile pose. Take a couple breaths here. Let's press our hands into the mat and press all the way back for child's pose. Let's bring ourselves to a seated position. And we're going to set ourselves up for a boat pose. So our backs are straight, our toes are flat, our feet are flat, our hands are behind our thighs, and we're just going to tilt back. Inhale, and then we can exhale and extend. And breathe here. Exhale, bring it down. Do that again. Inhale, bringing everything up. Keeping our back straight, our bellies are drawn in. Hands are strong. Gaze is forward. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, and one more. It's really great for our abs. If you want a little challenge, you can go down lower, come back up. Exhale, bring it down. Nice job. Let's bring our feet together and grab a hold of our feet. Go ahead and inhale and lengthen up through the spine. And exhale, fold over. And whatever is comfortable for you. Like I told you, I have a very tight hips, so I don't go down very far. But it's good to try. Just breathe into it. I guess you could press down with your elbows if you wanted to spread your thighs a little more into your shins, sides of your legs. I think we're really hinging at the hips and reaching for our toes. Let's inhale and come up. And exhale, let's bring our right foot into our thigh. Inhale, raise our arms up. We're going to have our left leg extended, our right foot is in our thigh. We're going to do a couple seated knees, head to knee folds. So here, if you'd like to, you can grab your belt and wrap it around your foot. So you inhale and lengthen, and exhale, forward fold over. Or if you can reach your feet, that's fine as well. Remember to breathe. Should feel a really nice stretch in the back of up your back, side back. Inhale, come up. Let's switch feet. Flexing our right foot, bringing our left foot into our thigh. Inhale, you can remember your strap if you need it. Lengthening up. Exhale, forward fold. Slowly make our way up. And now I'm going to ask you to grab your soft back books. We're going to do a waterfall pose. So the soft back actually feels fine on your back. So just bring that along your hip. And then I'm going to ask you to lay back down. Lay all the way down with your legs outstretched. Take your books and actually pick your hips up by bending your knees. And bring that to the center of your sacrum. So just that sweet spot in between your hips, right above your buttocks. There's a small bone, a little bone like that. You want to just set them right there. Then one foot at a time, your hands are resting either on your belly or on your mat. Just going to straighten out here. And then one leg at a time, just raise them up. Just keep my books in place there. Just it's very good for your lymphatic system to have some sort of inversion. This is a nice simple inversion. And if the books are uncomfortable for you, you can remove them. And you can place your hands or a block underneath. I think the soft books are a little bit nicer, so they should be straight up. These are. I'm going to cut our inversion down a little bit today. So let's go ahead and slowly bring them down, one foot at a time. And we're doing a counter stretch by just stretching out our legs, leaving the books where they are. So you should feel a nice stretch in the front of your hips. Remembering to breathe. Let's bring our knees back up and carefully remove the books or block from underneath, and let's bring our knees to our chest and just massage out that lower back. You can make little squares, or you can roll from side to side. If there's any other position or pose, asana that you'd like to take tonight, go ahead and take it. We're going to be setting up for Shavasana in a moment. Let's exhale into a good morning stretch. Bring our hands to our sides, setting up for Shavasana. Now you might like to cover your entire body with a blanket or layer up. I like to ground my hips down with a blanket. Take as much room as you can on your mat. So our legs, our feet are at the corners of our mat. Our hands are resting at our side, at the sides of our mat, with our palms facing up. happy to receive. We're resting our eyes, softening our face and our neck. Remembering to breathe here. Thinking back into the intention that you placed on today's practice. Relaxing our arms and our legs and our feet. I wanted to read a quote to you from Emily Lay, "When less becomes more, making space for slow, simple, and good." She writes, "Less rush, more rhythm, less liking, more loving, less noise, more calm, less distraction, more connection, less frenzy, more soul rest, less fake, more real, less fear, more community, less great, more good, less chasing, more cherishing, less stuff, more treasures." Begin to invite feeling back into your fingers and toes, wiggling those, and your ankles and your wrists, your elbows and your knees. Rolling to your right side. Slowly pressing up with your palm into a seated position with your eyes closed. Thank you for practicing with me today. The light in me truly honors the light in each of you. Let's bring our hands together and bow together with Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me today. Hope you have a great day. Take care.